This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Signing day is tomorrow. I mean, is there anything big that'll happen tomorrow? Because so much of this occurs on in the early signing period.
No, I mean there'll be kids who sign, but there's no splash moment that I know of. It's very anticlimactic. They killed that one off, literally.
All right. Well,
any Alex Collins things happening? Anything like that?
Not that I know of. No, that's some drama I'd watch, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Is that one of the more? I mean, of course, it's one of the more wilder ones. Was there? You heard other stories that were like that? A parent running away with a piece of paper or something that's good. Anybody has to say, if you pay attention to college football recruiting, if you say the Alex Collins incident, they all know what you mean. Is there anything else that you like? Well, you know what they meant because they just said this.
DB, who's in the NFL right now from Louisiana, really good player. I just don't watch the NFL. On his signing day, his mom's sitting there in disgust, just head going back and forth, foul look on her face. I remember that one. But, yeah, I mean, that's I wouldn't say it's common, but it happens.
I think this advisory group with the Big Ten and the SEC was announced after we had you on last Tuesday. So this just, I don't know what an advisory group means, but I just know that these are the two biggest, most important conferences, the richest conferences in college sports, two conferences that you'd even mentioned to us at a meeting with the NCAA and President Charlie Baker are making a power play. And it sounds like that's the power play. What are they talking about? And is this going to be, are we talking about maybe a super league in the near future?
Well, we already have two super leagues. You got 34 teams in those two leagues in 27 states. It's already here, and you're not going to expand just for the purpose of putting more teams in your league. They better be additive, not diluted. Two words we always use. If you're going to take somebody, they're either additive or diluted. There's no just bringing somebody in. And this is a pure power play. I've been talking about this for years, and they are getting together with this advisory board, but this is a power play, and I'll tell you what's on the table. They're even threatening, now I don't think this will happen, but Sankey here in recent days has threatened the future of the playoff. But unless basically we get our way, and their way is either we go to a 5-7 format and not 6 automatics, and frankly, guys, they're going to ask for all. They're going to ask for all at-large bids. Oh. If you would have done that this last year, only one team would have gotten in the playoff, not in the Big Ten or the SEC, and that would have been Florida State. That's what they want. Now, again, I don't know what the compromise is or if they'll compromise. They don't want SMU to get the $6 million that P5 teams get by virtue of being in the P5 under the playoff agreement. They're saying they're not going to give them that money. And there's the future TV contract, which has not been negotiated, or at least has not been finalized. They're in negotiations right now, which instead of being $600 million is going to be billions. And they're going to want a much bigger piece of that pie than the percentage they're getting at the current number. There's a lot at stake here, and there's so much at stake here that they're willing to threaten the future of the playoffs.
That's so interesting to think about, because you think of when a lot of these moves have been made of the brand name schools from one league to another, and has created all the trickle down. It's coincided with signing new media deals. And so what you're talking about here is that the next movement of college sports, and it might not have anything to do with teams leaving one conference for another. It could be conferences leaving the NCAA, and that coincides, from what I'm hearing from you, with 2 years from now when the new college football playoff contract is negotiated. That would be the next inflection point?
Yes. And again, I don't think they plan on not being involved, but they're threatening it because they have that power. You can't have a legit playoff and not have the SEC and or the Big Ten. And they're going to hook together here on this. Another item I'm sure they're talking about that they will not admit to is if there is another expansion, how do you want to handle this? Let's try and be in unison. Don't come down here to the South, even though we don't Florida State. Don't come down here and get them unless you say you take them. Then we'll take them. What do you want to do with Clemson? What do you want to do with Miami? Those are other discussions they're having because those teams want the bleep out of the ACC. Period.
Is there going to be more of a, with these kids, more of a long-term contract, or chances instead of everything right now is a one-year deal? Do you see that getting changed as well?
Yes, we're going to have monumental change. The schools are going to be given the power to issue the money, and you're going to have contracts. You're going to have unions. The Dartmouth news yesterday, that's going to get appealed. Remember, Northwestern did the same thing, got appealed, and then got shot down on appeals. They will get their unions. This will happen. Now, timing-wise, in courts, that's tough to predict. But, yes, there will be unions. The schools will divvy out the money. There will be contracts. There will be labor negotiations. There will be strikes, all of the above.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking professional sports, not this NIL stuff. Now we're talking professional sports.
And guys, Jack Swarbrick about 3 years ago said he could see in the near future sports only on campus. So you could easily have campuses where the athletes are there, but they're there only for that and no other purpose.
Hey, Bill.
See that too.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. I just want to ask you a football question about some of these kids, and I get it as a quarterback. We were talking earlier about the quarterbacks drafted in front of Patrick Mahomes, and it was Mitch Trubisky and where he went, and I was looking at some of the athletes in this year's draft, and I understand that quarterbacks are going to. I saw one where Bo Nix was a first-round pick. I have no idea how he's a first-round pick, but you know what whatever. But I want to ask you about some guys that I think all three of them are going to succeed. Harrison Jr. from Ohio State, Rome from Washington, and Neighbors from LSU. Just rank those receivers for me real quick. Put those 1, 2, 3.
Probably go Harrison Jr. and then Neighbors probably 2, and the UW kid 3. I think 2 and 3 is highly debatable.
I think all three of those kids are going to excel in the NFL. Now, the quarterbacks, I think it's more of a roll of the dice, especially after you get past Williams and Drake May. But I think all three of those receivers could go in any order. I think they're all three going to have success.
No doubt. I do, too. It's a bigger jump. From high school to college, receiver is a tough jump, but it's very doable. College to pro seems to be very difficult, and the reason being is, as you know, the DBs are just so much better.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy the difference in the DBs.
Is that why did Bryce Young struggle so much? I mean, we look at somebody that doesn't have a lot of size. He didn't have a great team around him, and that's got to be so much about it. You know, we were kicking around the idea of the Bears have this first pick. What do? Do you trade Fields? Do you draft Caleb Williams? Williams doesn't want to play there. You know, it sounds like potentially he could be maybe a little bit of a load to deal with off the floor.
He still hasn't signed with the agent, Phil. Like, there's still talk. He's acting like if he doesn't like it, he might go back to which I don't think so. But he hasn't signed with an agent yet.
Is Caleb Williams? I mean, I read scouting reports on Caleb Williams, and it's like he's going to be the next coming of Peyton Manning or something like that. What do you think of Caleb Williams at the next level?
I don't. It's hard from after this year, and it's probably a very unfair assessment. And he didn't have a lot of help, and they don't play defense. And I think he lost his spirit during the season. But I worry about him. I worry about him just as far as the leadership and all that's concerned. Now, I do think he has fantastic ability. If you promise me he's as good as C.J. Stroud, I'd take that right now.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Speaking of Ohio State, are the Buckeyes going to be looking for another offensive coordinator? I read where Bill O'Brien. I mean, it would make sense. Maybe the next head coach at Boston College, so that would leave another job open in Columbus.
Seems that way. Be a head coach. Now, you're not going to win there probably, but be a head coach. His son has a disease that apparently the best doctor in the world for that disease is in Boston, and it involves him having seizures all the time. And apparently that's a big consideration. Obviously, that'd be more important than any other consideration, right? And I think that is part of this element, too.
Wow, I didn't know that about his son. Yeah, Boston would be a place I'd want to live if I needed any kind of medical treatment, truthfully.
Yep.
We're 10 days from college baseball season. Who are you? Now, I know you pay attention to Corbs with Vanderbilt, Tony Vols over at Tennessee. Who are you looking at this year in the Southeastern Conference? Because usually it's like take your pick of any 7 or 8 teams. I'll tell you, watch out for Arkansas. This is going to be a really good team this year.
Oh, yeah. I love Arkansas. I love watching them. LSU, I mean, this is your obligatory list. Florida, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. Georgia's got the new coach there. Now, they don't care a lot about it, the university, but that'll be fun to watch. And South Carolina had some moments a year ago, right? I think Kentucky's always well coached. Those are a few I'll be taking a look at. But I'm mad because on Friday night, meaning a week from this Friday, I'm going to have to order Flow Sports to watch Tennessee and Texas Tech play. I'm not happy about that.
Arkansas baseball fans feel you. They really do, because they got to do the same thing for the second weekend of the season when they're at the Rangers ballpark. Or, they know they could just listen to the radio broadcast because it's 10 out of 10.
That's what I would do, but I do want to watch. I'm going to spend $30. I think I figured out I'm spending $30 on 3 games Friday night or through the weekend. What a waste.
That's how we know you're hardcore, Bill. If you're doing the Flow Sports thing, that's called hardcore. Hey, thanks for stopping over. Thank you so much.
See you guys. Yep.
Yeah, always a joy. Thanks, Bill.
Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, noted college baseball junkie. Otherwise, he would be throwing $30 at Flow Sports. Our listeners know all about that.
It keeps you away from watching the spring football games, I guess, for paying for that. You get to watch baseball a little more real live action.
Yeah, he won't be watching the spring games. I know that for sure. I was going to ask him if he's going to watch the Super Bowl, and it's like I think he'd be more worried about cooking for the Super Bowl because Bill. I mean, he's not into pro football at all. But I think even if you're not into pro football, you still watch the Super Bowl, right?
He could be a Taylor Swift fan. He could be a Swiftie. Probably not.
I think he'd be more of a Toby Keith fan today. We'll get into the home stretch of halftime and talk to you after the quick break.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.